Hello, this is Death is My Life, the place where we transform grief into belief, and where the veil between worlds feels just a little thinner. I'm Jolene, your guide through stories of love, after death, signs from beyond, end of life rituals, and the inner transformations that are awakened by loss. Settle in, open your heart, and let's journey into today's episode together.
Okay. Well, I have my computer up with some questions, so if I'm looking away, it's just
Yeah, no problem. I'm easy to work with.
good. Thank you. Me too. All right. So, can you introduce us to you and what your role is?
Yes, my name is Nirantara Das, the name I was given when I accepted the vows of a Krishna devotee in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness in 1974. And by accepting initiation, I have made vows that I practice my whole life since that time. So, number one, strictly vegetarian, no meat, fish, eggs, strictly but lacto-vegetarian. Yes, we do accept milk products. So, because there's different levels of vegetarianism, so we are lacto-vegetarians. In fact, milk and milk products are integral to our religious practices and lifestyle. The second is no intoxication, not even cigarettes or alcohol, beer, like that, no intoxication. No sex outside of marriage. And if you want to practice the topmost, even within marriage, only for procreative purposes, only in order to conceive a child. Otherwise, you abstain. And then the last one is no gambling. So those are called the 4 pillars of sinful life. And so those are the negative. And the positive, as you see behind me, is our main prayer, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We try to follow, in fact, Jesus or the Bible's instructions, the Bible, hallowed be thy name. So we take that line that God's name is holy as the core teaching of our philosophy. In fact, the fundamental principle is that one should always be singing or speaking or chanting the Lord's holy name, fame, form, pastimes, anything related with God. So this mantra, man means mind, tra, to deliver. By chanting this Maha Mantra, the great chanting for deliverance, one is gradually placed on a transcendental or spiritual platform. I was raised Roman Catholic, and at the age of 19, I had what you would call a theophilosophical breakdown. I was lost, I was confused, filled with doubts. At the age of 19, I became addicted to sex, drugs, and rock and roll. But after floundering, trying to make it as a musician in the material world in New York, in 1972, I came across a small pamphlet, and I read that pamphlet, and I said, this is what I have been looking for my whole life. And within 1 year from that time, I became a serious practitioner of this Krishna consciousness or philosophy of Krishna. How's that?
That's wonderful. Thank you. So, If I'm to address you, how would you introduce yourself to me?
You can call me, you can say Nick, you can say Nikki. If you want to use my spiritual name, Nirantara,
Okay.
whatever is comfortable for you.
Thank you.
I accept both.
Okay. So, what was it about that pamphlet that had you so captivated?
Well, I had come across over the years different gurus and swamis and different kinds of philosophy, but it didn't affect me. I couldn't latch onto it. But when I read this small pamphlet, everything the person wrote, I could identify. I could recognize. Yes, this is it. This, like for instance, you know from your father, we grew up in the age of the Beatles. The Beatles were our gurus. Whatever the Beatles did, we did. So we got, in our teenage years, influenced by the philosophy of the Beatles, the 60s. We became influenced by their such concepts. So there are certain things, regardless of your religious club, I call them clubs. You have the Christian club, the Buddhist club, the Jewish club, the Hindu. Everybody's got their little, that's fine. That's no problem. The main thing, and which is what I like about this philosophy, is very, very simple. All you need is love of God. See, the Beatles, that was my favorite song. All you need is love. But the problem was I didn't find it in Dina. I didn't find it in Linda. I didn't find it in Michelle. I was frustrated. But then by reading the pamphlet, my guru, the author of the pamphlet, he said, loving propensity is automatically there. The problem is where to repose your love so that everyone is satisfied. And his point was, you put your love in God. And with that as your center, everything else will automatically follow. You could say a trickle-down philosophy. If your main intention in life is to love and serve God, or I remember from Catholic school, the 13 years I attended, Jesus taught when asked, what is the greatest commandment? He said, love God with your whole heart, your whole soul, your whole mind, and then love your neighbor as yourself. That's called the golden rule. So that is also there in this philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Only the different practices may be different, but the central point of the philosophy is to love God without any restriction, completely, totally. So sometimes people over the years have asked me, you were raised Catholic, you were raised Christian, why did you become a Hindu? I said, I'm not a Hindu. I'm doing what Jesus said. Jesus said, love God. I'm doing that. No, I'm trying to do that. I'm not going to be puffed up and say, yes, I love God. No, I'm trying to love God. And if you love God, automatically you will also love all of God's creatures. So it's not difficult to love your neighbor as yourself, because everything is connected with God. Whether you call him Allah or Buddha, Christ, Jehovah, doesn't matter. We're talking about the supreme being. Also, I was taught, now you know, people may not believe me, but I've said this for the past 50 years. I was taught nobody goes to the Father but through Jesus. And I said, that's true. I followed Jesus. He showed me the Father. His name is Krishna. What's the problem? I'm no different. I still love Jesus. In fact, for many, many years, every year I would be invited to a school here in the Los Angeles area named Chaminade High School. Now, that Chaminade High School is where I went to, in Hempstead when I lived in Long Island. I went to Chaminade High School. So they also
really?
they have a West Coast branch.
Cool.
So
Okay.
a particular teacher would invite me every year to address her class. So I would try to present the philosophy in terms that Catholic school students could understand, make it relatable. So one time I said to the students, so look, if Jesus was to enter the door right now, what would you do? What would you do? And so different students said, I said, if Jesus came right now, I would bow down at his feet. I would say, praise the Lord. And then I would sing the glories of God. And I'm sure Jesus would join me. That's how I feel.
How did the kids in the Catholic school respond to you during those sessions?
I think they like me. I think I would get reports from them. Otherwise, why would she keep asking me year after year?
Yeah.
And what you say, I'm good at entertaining. I'm good at selling. I consider myself Krishna's salesman. So
Okay.
I'm good at what I do. And so it's all a matter of how you present it. And what I have found, it's not so much the words, but the intention, the love and the devotion and sincerity behind the words. Because words can be empty, but people want to see that you walk the walk, talk the talk. So I think pretty much I went over good. I mean, went on for so long, and at a certain point, whatever happened, I didn't get invited, but there was never a negative incident. And I was surprised, even in a Catholic high school, you would have atheists, because this teacher would teach a comparative religions class. So I would be called in when they were studying Hinduism, and they would bring in a Muslim. They would bring in representatives to address the students. And some of the students were very, open. Yeah, I'm an atheist. And I would say, I don't have a problem with atheists. It's all a matter of knowing how to relate to people on their level, on their platform. So, for instance, we would always begin the program by singing this Hare Krishna mantra. I would sing it. And I would tell, and the thing was, I would have to get the students involved. So it'd be like a call and response. So I would tell, okay, those of you who are theists, these are different names of God. And if you're an atheist, these are just beautiful sounds.
Sure.
Now,
Yeah, they are.
everybody, and they would participate, and they liked it.
Oh, that's fun.
Yes.
That sounds like a good time. So the comparative religion class, does your philosophy encourage finding your own religious path, asking questions, that sort of thing?
Okay, so in the particular practice that I follow, Krishna consciousness, we follow three things. One is the books. So, for instance, for the Christians, it's the Bible. So for us, we have several books, two of which are the most important. Bhagavad Gita, which is the song of God, the song of Krishna, And then there's a larger work, the Srimad Bhagavatam. So the Bhagavad Gita is like the size of your Bible, and the Bhagavatam is like 18 Bibles.
Wow.
So we have lots of philosophy, lots of instructions. We have lots of historical examples. And we also have in these books practical instructions how to live it. It's not a question of just understanding the philosophy. You have to live it. Now, living it, it depends on a particular level that you are comfortable following. So we have different gradations. We have, for instance, we have our biggest section are people like you, ordinary people, Indians, all cultures who like our philosophy, like to come to our temples. So they're like your congregation, your lay people. Then you have those who are initiated disciples. Okay, so if you can follow those 4 basic pillars of sinful life, and you can chant this Hare Krishna mantra so many times a day, like the rosary. Here, I'll show you. Here are my rosary beads.
Oh, wow.
So it's
Are
got
Are they
100.
wood?
What's that?
Are they wooden?
Yeah, they're made from a plant called tulsi. Tulsi. It's grown in India. They also grow it here, but traditionally, there's 108 beads, and on each bead, I say a little prayer for me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So 108, you do that. That's called one round. And I have taken a vow to chant 16 rounds every day. There are others who chant 32, 64.
Wow.
And some spend like 12, 15 hours a day chanting, although you can't imitate it because there's also a quality to the chanting. Because you could go like this, or you can say it with devotion, Hare Krishna, because you're uttering the hallowed be thy name. Now, if I may, at this time, interject. You see the word Hare behind me. It appears 8 times. So Hare is the feminine aspect of the absolute truth. In our philosophy, God is one, eternally separated into 2. Divine male, divine female. So in this mantra, the feminine is 8 times, Hare. Then you have the 2 masculine names, Krishna and Rama. So Krishna means God is all attractive. And Rama means God is the reservoir of pleasure. So we consider all of these names to be transcendental. They're not material sound vibrations. I'm sure you've heard of the sound Om. Everybody knows Om.
Yeah.
That's called a transcendental seed vibration. So that Om is contained within this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. It's called Mahamantra, and my favorite explanation, this is my personal explanation, it's the mantra on steroids. Because there are hundreds and hundreds of different mantras in our scriptures. So this one is called Maha, the great one. Now, so we have our books, we have our spiritual master or your personal spiritual trainer who guides you, who trains you, who is there for support. So that's guru. And then the third thing is sadhu, or holy man. In other words, we follow the ideals and example of previous saints in our line. By following these three things, you can practically see how you can advance. The example is given. When you're hungry, as you eat, two things happen. You become nourished, and also you begin to feel satisfaction. And at a certain point, I'm full. I'm good. So like, I can't judge. Your eating capacity may be different than mine. And nobody can judge. Only you know. You're the one eating. So you know. No. I've had it. Thank you. It was good. I'm good. So the same way, this philosophy, because it's an actual science, you get to perceive the results step by step. Otherwise, why would you continue? Say you're in a relationship with someone. If the relationship is not going according to course, you're not going to maintain the friendship. You want to see, all right, we started here, then we went, right? But if there's always friction, then you're going to say, this is not worth it. So same way with this philosophy, nobody's going to do the austerities required unless you're getting some realization, some reciprocation from within. And that brings me to another important concept. Our philosophy is God is already there in everyone's heart, regardless, believer, non-believer, man, animal. And that's why we don't kill animals, because we also believe that the animal has a soul and has the right to live just as much as a man. So we, followers of this Krishna philosophy, we see, or we try to see, God is in every living thing. It is God's presence that gives the animation, because the body itself is dead. It's God and also the soul. So one of the first things you learn in Bhagavad Gita is that you're not your body, you're not your mind, you are not what you see in the mirror. And thank God, at this age, I'm glad I'm not what I see in the mirror. No, you are inside the body, in the heart, the actual soul, the real you. You are in the heart, and your landlord is also in your heart. That's God. He's there. Now, what's the function of God in the heart? He has several functions. He knows when you are, he knows, so he sees everything, and he's the one that gives thumbs up or thumbs down. We endeavor so many things, right? But even last night, the football game, one team won, one team lost. And there were so many micro changes in the game, and at certain times, thumbs up, thumbs down. So in the heart, God is doing several things. He's overseeing, he's sanctioning, he is giving you intelligence, he's causing you to remember, and also causing you to forget. So the whole teaching of our Bhagavad Gita, which is our main, say, Bible, is the Bhagavad Gita. One of the main things is to have the soul once again turn to God in the heart and take instruction. And as soon as that happens, one is on the path of liberation. Because the whole purpose is to get out of this material dream and go to the kingdom of God. This whole life, human experience, is one about self-discovery, self-realization. I have given lectures in public, and I did this a couple of years ago. I gave a lecture on the original woke philosophy. The original woke philosophy is that once you become God realized, now you're awake. It's a whole process of coming out of the darkness of material existence, out of this dreamlike existence, and come to the spiritual reality that there is God, that you have an eternal relationship with God. You, every one of us, we have an individual relationship with God, and the whole journey of life is to discover what is that. So it's kind of exciting because day by day I'm getting closer to that point when it will be revealed to me what is my eternal relationship with God. Will I be his friend? Will I be a worshiper? Will I act like his servant? Will I be his buddy and wrestle with him and play with him? Will I act like his parent? Or the most confidential, can I become an intimate lover of God? Now we're getting
Totally.
into some
In the
really...
after. So that's my podcast is exploring people's views on the afterlife, and so this is a perfect segue into that. And you started
Yes, it
touching that.
is.
Do you have any rituals you perform at time of dying or death
Yes,
to help
yes.
the soul get there?
So the optimum way to die is that you are surrounded by saintly people, pious people, religious people, and that you are hearing the sound vibration of God's name or God's glorification. The idea is, this is taught in Bhagavad Gita.
Mm-hmm.
Since our philosophy is that you are eternal, not the body, but you, the real you always existed. That's a good one. You always existed, okay? And that you will continue to exist. This life is not the only life. You've had so many lives before.
On Earth?
And all over the universe.
Cool. Okay.
All over the universe. Sometimes I make a joke in my lectures on this point that you've always existed and you're not going anywhere. So you might as well get used to yourself because you're not going anywhere.
Yep.
Okay?
Okay.
Okay, so right now, this is called samsara, or transmigration of the soul. The Gita points out, just like you're wearing clothes, but tomorrow you put on new clothes. No problem. You remain the same, you just put on new clothes. Bhagavad Gita teaches, just like you change clothes, you change bodies. Or car. Later on in Gita, it's explained the body is like a car. So maybe you started out with a little cheap little car, but then as you made some money, okay, it's time for an upgrade, right? So the same way, depending on your karma, good or bad, you're getting a new body, a new set of clothes. What's the whole point? Well, there's 2 points. Some people, because you have free will, that's a kicker, free will. God never interferes with free will. Okay, you always have that. It may be minute, but you still have choice. So some people, and the human form of life is like you could say a airport terminal. Depending how I act on earth is going to determine the next flight. So if I'm only interested in enjoying the material world, so to speak, you'll come back as a human being and pick up where you left off in your journey. If you were sinful, if you were cruel, and if you showed no interest as a human being in God consciousness, then you get demoted, animal life, or lower. But don't worry, eventually you come back as a human being in order to settle all accounts with the Corleone family. So the human form of life is key. So at the time of death, what you are harboring in your heart, your strongest desire at the time of death determines the next. Like we have an example in our scriptures. There was this saintly person, but after some time, he became over affectionate to a deer. And while this saintly person was dying, instead of remembering God, he remembered the deer. So that's what he was thinking of at the time of death. He took his next birth as a deer for one life. Then he took his next birth as a human, learned his lesson, and then in that next life, he's finished everything, went to the kingdom of God. So at the time of death, what you are harboring, what you are meditating on, that is going to determine. So the idea is at the time of death to be surrounded by thoughts of God. And that will assure your liberation, your salvation, your entrance into the kingdom of God. Me, how am I going to die? I'm going to die in two ways. One way, I'll have my headphones on and I'll be hearing my songs and other spiritual songs. Or else, the best way, I'm giving a lecture on Krishna and then, Krishna! That's how yes. But not for another 50
epic.
years. Not for another 50 years.
Okay, good.
With your blessings.
Do you feel grief at the time of death, or is it a celebration or a mixture of both?
Well, as far as I know, death is a painful situation. I mean, we can disguise it with drugs, but think about it. You're being ripped out of your body, and depending on how attached you are, that could determine many things. It all depends on how attached you are to your situation. In our philosophy, it is said sometimes people are so attached to their body, to their home, that in their next life they become a ghost. What's a ghost? A ghost is a soul wrapped around a subtle body of mind, intelligence, and ego, but you still have these desires to want to enjoy the material world. So your punishment is, okay, you're attached, but now you don't have a body to enjoy. Just like, I'm sure it never happened to you, but sometimes kids will get grounded, right? You're not going to get any driving privilege. You know, you get, and you want to go here and you go there, but you can't, right? Or you lose your license, right? So that's a ghost existence. It has all these desires due to attachment, but no vehicle. But again, that's only for one lifetime. eventually you will again take birth as a human, and you will have the opportunity to rectify. Because I said, it all depends on your free will, your choice. Free will means choices. God gives you door number 1, 2, or 3. And depending on which door you choose, your life goes a certain trajectory. Have you ever played, maybe when you were young, Nintendo, Super Mario Brothers? You know,
I
oh my,
did. I wasn't allowed to, but
oh,
we found our ways to do it.
okay, good, good, good. Well, my daughter, when she was young, she was really good at Super Mario. I couldn't get past level 2. It was like, but she could go to level 6, right? But it was
Yes.
all about your choices, right? So life is like that. You're getting choices, moment to moment to moment choices. And depending on what you choose, a different scenario takes place.
So there's no punishment. It's relearning. Your
Well,
soul's trying to
no,
develop
there
itself.
is. Okay, so yes, there is punishment
Okay.
in this sense. You know from living your life, right? Some days are good, some days are bad, and you have to deal with disease and harsh weather. So there is some punishment because everything is, the whole matrix is set up by God. This is not an accident. Like I tell people, the laws of nature is just another way of saying the laws of God. I didn't create these laws. Man didn't create. The laws of nature are created by God. So in one sense, right, there is, we all have experience. There is suffering in this world. Now, say as a human being, I'm very, very evil and sinful. I will have to be punished. And hell, we do accept hell, but it's temporary. Here is how I explain hell. So, did you ever see the movie Ghost? The famous
Sure. Of
movie?
course. Yep.
So there's
Swayze.
those 2 scenes where the black ghosts come and they take the soul, right?
Yes.
That is actually taken from our scriptures. There is what we call the agents of death. Death is a representative of God. There is a personality called Yamaraj. He's the judge. So if somebody, now in the case of the Ghost movie, the 2 guys were very, very evil. Willie, the one who killed, and his partner, who stole all the money. So yeah, they had to go to hell because of very grievous sins. But in our philosophy, what is hell? So you've had nightmares, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So in actuality, the nightmare is a few moments. But for you in the dream, it may seem like hundreds and hundreds of years. That is hell. In reality, it may be a flicker, but in this experience of hell, to you, it might seem like thousands of years. Then you're judged, because you have to be punished. Then you're judged and placed into another body lower than human. And then there's a gradual automatic evolution to higher and higher animal forms until eventually you come back as a human. Now every opportunity is there to rectify. That's why it's important that as a human being, I associate with good things, good people, and stay away from bad things, because as human beings, we're social. And if we associate with the wrong kinds of people, we can get sidetracked. Even me. you know, I'm a human being. I can easily get distracted. So I keep my association always with nice people and stay away from bad influences.
Are your kids, you said you have a daughter, do you have other kids?
I have one daughter and one grandson.
Okay.
And
Are they part of
my
your Hare
daughter
Krishna?
is what you would say a congregational member. She has not taken any formal vows, but she accepts the philosophy and lives, she follows as much as she's comfortable with. Like those 4 regulative principles, like I mentioned. She pretty much follows that. So
Okay.
you can only like, I am what is called grihasta. I am married. But there are others who are renounced sannyasis, so their lifestyle is much more strict. I'm not as strict in my person, and my daughter and son-in-law, they accept the philosophy, but their involvement is minimal.
Is there a meeting like in the Catholic religion, you go to church on Sundays for an hour-long mass?
Well, for congregational members, usually they go to a temple and attend what is called the Sunday Love Feast, which is open to the public. You don't have to even be a member. Anyone can attend our Sunday service, and anyone who attends the Sunday service will also get a free vegetarian meal. That in every temple in ISKCON, that's the program. Those who are serious practitioners, they will attend the temple every morning and every evening. And that morning starts at 4:30. The first temple service is at 4:30 in the morning. But those would be for people who live in an ashram or who live in the temple area. Persons like myself, I did that for 20, 30 years, all right? Now I live outside in an apartment with my wife, so I don't do that much, but I fill up my day with remembering, hearing, chanting, singing, all in connection with God, with Krishna.
All day Sunday.
Yeah, and also I'm a preacher. I go to different places on a regular basis, give lectures or performances.
Oh. Okay. So what do your funerals look like?
Well, funerals, generally, the body is cremated. And there are rituals that can be done in preparation for the cremation. I have spoken at hundreds of such funeral ceremonies for various Hindu families in the past 30, 40 years. So the ceremony is specific rituals preparing the body for the cremation. We wrap it in sacred cloths, flower garlands that were offered to God are placed in the coffin. These beads, these tulsi beads, we also wear them on our neck because they're considered protection from that god of death, Yamaraj. If he sees this, he says, all right, hands off. He's a devotee. Don't touch him. So this is like my protection. So Tulsi is there. Also, we have the sacred waters of the Ganges that we will sprinkle on the person's tongue. And then, of course, the big thing are the prayers and the mantras. And then the cremation is done with loud singing of the holy name of God.
Are they large? Is everybody involved?
Well, that depends on the family.
Okay.
The family will determine, because lately now, the funerals that I've attended in the last, I think since COVID, things have become much more private. In the past, before COVID, many of these funerals, there would be hundreds of people in attendance, usually because the person was a dignitary or somebody big in the Hindu or devotee community. But lately it's been, the families have opted for just the immediate family. They don't want to deal with so much outside interference. They just want to get it done and then move on. So it can be a big function. Same with weddings. I've also, spoken at weddings, and sometimes there can be 300-400 people, and then others, they're like, beachside weddings. It depends. There's no
Okay.
hard and fast rule.
Sure. What's the emotional state like at your funerals?
Well, it's a good, like when I'm asked to lecture at funerals, so it's like a 15-20 minute, you don't want to go on and on. You want to keep it short, uplifting, like that. So it all depends on the individual's relationship with the deceased or the circumstances how the person deceased. So that's dependent. There's no one. Some people, it's, they've accepted it. They know the day's been coming, so it's not a shock. Whereas others, like last year, somebody very young in his 30s, died of a heart attack. So that
Whoa.
was, for the family, who I knew very well, it was very tremendous. It also depends on your level of what I call transcendental realization. If you've developed a transcendental consciousness and you've developed a strong understanding and faith in God, then you just, and this is how I speak. I tell the people, so here's your beloved, such and such. There's nothing to lament, because if we love somebody, we want the best for the loved one. So if the person was a good person, religious, pious, then we know such and such is in a better place. We should be happy. If the guy was a real jerk, I'm not going to say that, but, then it's like, he's going to get what he gets. So it depends on, if a person is very knowledgeable in the teachings of the Gita, then they know, I'm the next to go. Don't lament. My day is coming. Ask not for whom the bell tolls. It tolls for thee. I always point that out, because I'm mostly speaking to the congregation who's attending. In terms of the family, it depends on how close they were and the person's individual level of spiritual realization. But if you understand God is in control, that the soul is eternal, that there is really no such thing as death, it's not a big deal. But if you're really attached to the body, then yes, it's going to be a tremendous, experience. It all depends on your level of consciousness. I'll give you an example. So some years ago, there was this young Indian lady. She maybe was in her early 30s. She had cancer and she was pregnant. And I remember whenever I would see her, she was jolly and joyful. And I said, my God, you're going to have a baby. You have cancer. How can you be so blissful? She was like, I was like amazed at this lady. And it's because she had a very high understanding. Everything's in the hand of God. And she survived the cancer. She had the kid. So she's doing something right.
Yes. Do you think that positive outlook and faith help heal the body and
Definitely.
grief and emotions?
I can't say scientifically that there's a correlation, but I got to admit there's got to be something there. My wife is a big believer in positive thinking. She won't let me get negative. If I'm watching the news and she goes, hey, calm down. Everything's in Krishna's control. You're not in control. Let it go. Otherwise, sometimes I have a nervous breakdown when I see the news. I go, oh my God.
It's hard to watch
Yes.
sometimes. I'm glad you have her there poking you.
Are you kidding? Oh, without her, I'd be gone. I'd be dead by now. For sure.
Yeah.
She's my lifeline.
Oh, she's lovely. I was able to see her at the beginning of this interview.
Yeah, she's working next door and she works from home. This is my workspace. Like before, I was just I do what is like a books on tape kind of thing for my website. So I'm recording some holy book, and then it was time for this. So she works, I record. We have lunch together. We go for a walk. I take care of her. She takes care of me. We're a good team.
Beautiful.
Knock on wood.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so you mentioned you don't want to die for another 50 years. Is that a belief of your philosophy? Or
No, it's just my personal thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I got too many things I want to do before I die. Also, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Yeah, I am afraid.
Are you afraid of dying process or what's going to happen to the world without you, or what are you?
Oh, no, not that. No, not that.
Okay.
No, I'm a baby. I don't like pain. Okay? And I'm like, let's just say I need more time to get ready. How's that?
Sure. 50 years sounds good.
To be ready.
Yes. And so it's okay. It's acceptable for your philosophy, the people in your philosophy. It's okay for them to experience human emotions surrounding death.
No, you cannot, how can you say? You don't deny your feelings, but you learn how to handle them with higher intelligence. I'm sure you've had experience. There's some crisis, some problem, either in the family or the workplace. Some people freak out, but the mature person is able to, okay, somebody steps up to the plate, gets everything calmed down. So that's how what you're striving for. What you want to always be able to rise to the occasion. That's what you're practicing towards. To be the adult in the room when everybody else is freaking out. You are able to use your intelligence and navigate through the different problems. But feelings, yes, you can't. We're human beings. If you don't have feelings, you're not alive. No, we don't deny our feelings. We don't deny our talents. This is another thing I like about this philosophy. You're not hindered. Whatever you like to do, you can do it for Krishna. You can do it for God. Ricky knows, right? Ricky's always been a musician, always been a singer. I'm the same way. But instead of singing at the back fence bar or singing for Linda or Michelle, I'm singing for Krishna. I'm singing, but just the subject matter has changed. Instead of singing the blues, I'm singing happy songs, uplifting, encouraging, nourishing. I'm also singing transcendental sound vibration. Yes, if you like to paint, if you're an artist, paint for Krishna. If you like to cook, my wife loves to cook, so you can cook for Krishna. Because before eating, whatever we cook, we offer to Krishna. We say a little prayer, we offer. And then it becomes like sacrament. We call it prasad, the mercy of God. So if you like to say you like to talk, okay, talk for Krishna, Hari Bol. Say you like to make money, go ahead, make money. Give to Krishna, give to devotees of God. That's like, I like this, you've heard of Melinda Gates. She's always giving to charitable causes, and now she's getting on other billionaires' cases. What are you guys doing? I've given, like she's telling them, I've given so much. You haven't given anything. I like that about her. Yes. You should share, you should give. Didn't Jesus say that if you give to the least, you're actually giving to me? I think there's something I remember Jesus saying that even if you give something to the least of the least, it's as if you're giving to Jesus. That's a spirit. I like that. That's good.
Yeah. My daughter, I have an 18-year-old daughter. And
Wait a second.
4 and 2.
How can you have an 18? You don't look more than 18.
Oh, well, thank you. I don't have a filter on.
Wow.
Yeah, my daughter, she just turned 18. I'm 40 in February.
Oh my God.
I know.
You look, I'm telling you, I was thinking, how can Ricky's daughter be so young? Wow. You know, this tells me just by looking at you, you have probably lived a very nice, religious, holy, spiritual life, because it shows.
Well, thank you. I have had some hurdles, but I'm doing my best now.
Duh, who hasn't?
Yeah. But I think, yeah, my daughter, my oldest, so then I have a 4-year-old girl and a 2-year-old boy, almost 2. So I have the little span, but my 18-year-old, she's just blowing me away. So as you talk about giving to less, she's 18, right? How much money could an 18-year-old really have? And so I was on the phone with her the other day, and I hear her, and she's talking to somebody, and it sounds like she's giving something away, and the people were like, thank you so much, whatever you can give us helps. And she told me she keeps a big bag of snacks in her car, and she gives it to people who look like they're in need. I was just
Excellent.
blown away.
Excellent. Very nice.
Does that her own. Yeah. I know. So I just love that. Small acts of kindness are bigger than we know. So I'm guessing, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, when you're feeling down, you turn to God for your coping strategies.
Oh, yes. Yes. Because when you have transcendental vision, you understand that ultimately, not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of God. So I am trained through our philosophy that there is an immediate cause and a remote cause. So let's say I'm having a bad interaction with a particular person. Say it's not my fault. Say it's totally the other person's fault.
It always is.
So I'm trained, don't get angry. Try to learn, what is God trying to teach me through this incident.
I
That
love
pretty
that.
much gets me through. And the same way, if I get a compliment or if I get a very good relationship with somebody, what is God? In other words, I don't see anything separate from my ultimate relationship with God. Everything is contingent. And it's my job to understand what's the lesson here. And I don't get upset with the immediate cause, because 9 times out of 10, the immediate cause, they're acting helplessly. They can't help it. They're like children, right? If a children, hits me, it's a child. Just let it go, forget it. So same way, if somebody disrespects me or I have some run-in, let it go. Let it go. Didn't Jesus say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do? That is how I view everything. That keeps me tranquilo. Because the worst thing is for me to react and then they've accomplished exactly what they want. Sometimes people want to do things just to see you react, so you don't play into their game.
That's a good way to look at things. Yeah. Sometimes you are curious. Why? Like, why are they doing this? It is to get a reaction.
Sometimes, yeah. Or another way of looking at it is that in my past, I did something to this person. Now I'm getting payback. That's another way. That's kind of hard. That's an advanced stage where you see, actually, I may not be able to understand it, but I'm only getting back something that I probably did a couple of lifetimes ago. Now God has given them the chance to, like, okay, this person screwed you over. Now it's your chance. They still have free will and I have free will. My free will is don't retaliate, don't react, accept, move on.
That's very powerful. Sometimes it's hard and you just feel like
Oh yeah, it's
holding on
hard.
to it.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah.
it's hard. It's hard. But if you practice it, if you are constantly studying, like that's what I do all day. All day I'm studying. So that keeps my intellect sharp. So that at any time, oh yeah, I now remember this particular passage. I'm always, in the fire of this transcendental knowledge. Trying. The word try.
Thank you. Okay, so I wrote down some notes. I might hop topics a little bit. So during the time of death, you don't use any mood altering substances at all. So even does that go through? I mean, I'm assuming it goes through death. So I'm a hospice nurse, and we usually try to provide medication to keep people physically comfortable.
Okay, that is not prohibited.
Okay.
You're allowed to follow the rules of medicine. I take medications. Okay, that's when I said no intoxication. I'm talking about, hard drugs, alcohol, stuff that's
Recreationally.
stuff that's intoxicating, toxic, poison. But medicines, you can take that. You can, medicines. Now, my wife, she has indicated that she never wants to be on life support. So that's her choice. We could go either way. Life support, that's up to the person, what they're capable of doing.
Okay. I know that comes up a lot of times in religion. If you're not doing everything that the medical field is offering you, then
It's
you're
your
not doing it.
choice.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
your choice.
Okay, good. Can you explain what the yellow paint on your head is?
I knew that was coming. Usually that's the first question.
Oh,
Okay, so this is called tilak.
tilak.
It is clay taken from the banks of holy rivers in India.
Ooh, okay.
And the reason why we place it on 12 or 13 parts of the body. And when we apply the marking, you say a little mantra, Om Keshavaya Namaha, Om Narayanaya Namaha, Om Madhava. Different names of God are invoked, and that is to give protection to the body. We consider the body a temple because God is inside. A temple is where God is. So since I said at the beginning, God is in everyone's heart, the body is supposed to be used as a temple. So the markings, I don't know if you can see, because I put it on a few hours ago, but this is the particular, and there are different kinds of tilak. So these are called Vaishnava tilak. There's 3 lines that go this way. That's a different religious sect, Shaivites. But those who are devotees of Krishna or God the Father, they wear this kind. And this signifies that this is a temple. And by the way, the more someone looks at me like this, they are burning up bad karma. So keep on
Wonderful.
watching. I'm doing a free service. Burning up your karma, no charge, free of charge.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I do feel better talking to you, Nikki. Like your energy is just so beautiful and just absorbing it all. And I appreciate
it. Yes, because you and your father, we grew up in the best of times.
How did you meet him? I have to know.
Well, he lived, a couple of blocks away. And when we were teenagers and even before teenagers, the place to hang out was called Kennedy Park. So Kennedy Park was very close to where your father lived. My house was somewhat away, and we would always meet at Kennedy Park, play sports, and then as we grew older, music, and we intertwined musically. Yeah, we were neighborhood friends. And your father was beautiful back then. He was a beautiful soul.
He is. My dad, he's like so generous and so friendly and just like yes man. Like, Dad, I need this. I need that. Can you give me that? Just never hesitates. Yes. And
Yes,
beyond. He'll go above and beyond.
He has a heart full of soul.
He does.
Yes.
Yes. And he, even this podcast, he's like, call this friend and call that friend. And I've been listening to every episode, and he'll interject and comment on them. He's just the most supportive. And with 4 kids, that's probably hard to keep track of all of us, but he does. Okay, I have one burning question, and then I will let you go. And it's not to be controversial or anything. It's just very, very curious. Do you believe that plants have souls?
Plants? Mm-hmm. Yeah, all living entities have souls. Okay. Otherwise, there can be no growth. There can be no life symptoms. So yes. So, for instance, human beings, the soul is in the heart. For a plant, it's in the roots, because that's where all the energy is being generated. So God is there and there's also a soul. That tree or plant is no different from me and you. There's a soul there. And every living, so whether it be aquatics, aquatics have life. insects, animals, birds, plants, trees, all living things have soul and supersoul or God. They go together. So yes.
Okay.
So now probably your next question, because I get it all the time. Well, you guys, you don't eat animals, but you guys eat plants. So you are hypocrites. You say you don't kill the animals because they have the soul, but you're killing the plants because you're vegetarian and eating. I get that question all the time. So here's our philosophy answers that question. So different living entities, the bodies, dictates the amount of consciousness that's prevalent. So obviously, you have dogs?
I do.
Okay. You love your dogs, right?
Yes.
Okay. My daughter's got 2. She calls them her babies. Okay?
Yes, I love my dogs. My
Okay.
husband thinks I have too many, but that's okay.
That's all right. But for you, those dogs are like people. You'll do anything for your dogs, right? Okay?
Yep.
And if you hurt the dog, you'll hear the dog, because the dog has a higher degree of consciousness prevalent. Now when we get to plants and trees, the level of consciousness is very, very low. So you're not subjecting that living entity to so much agony and pain, because the presence of consciousness is not to the same degree. But still, if I just eat vegetables, yes, I will be liable for sin. Therefore, our scriptures say, yes, you are allowed to eat plants, vegetables, but it has to be offered to God as a sacrifice. Then there'll be no sinful reaction, no karma. Now the people will say, well, then there's no difference. My religion says I can eat animals. And I say, yes, your religion may allow you to eat animals. I recognize, I was raised Catholic. I ate meat up until the day I moved into the temple. Okay? So I'm sensitive to that. But although your religion or religion sanctions the eating of meat, the religion doesn't exempt you from cancer and so many diseases that many times accompany the meat eating. So the idea is you want to limit the amount of violence that you need to live. The law of nature is one living being is food for another. That's the way God has designed this. Even in the animal kingdom, the animals can only eat certain things. They're restricted by God's arrangement. Human being, because it has the maximum amount of consciousness prevalent or made aware in a human body, the human being must use some discrimination and be able to distinguish between the amount of violence and pain incurred killing an animal and pulling a potato from the ground. Again, it has to be offered. So it's not just vegetarian. So technically we are Krishnatarians. We only eat food offered to Krishna. And even then, there are some vegetables that we don't partake, because I'm a little bit strict. So we don't eat onions, we don't eat garlic, because it disturbs the airs of the body, and that makes practicing spiritual life a little more difficult. We want to have an atmosphere where practicing spiritual life is easier.
Okay, that all makes sense, and I mean, I I'm a nurse. I wash my hands. Theoretically, that could be killing germs,
Mhm.
So I understand the trickle down consciousness level for sure.
Okay, now, on this question of, say, meat eating, right? So, in presenting our philosophy to the public in general, even in the category of meat eating, there are different levels. So
Mhm.
we would say, okay, if you must eat meat, then at least don't eat cow. Why? Because our philosophy is cow is considered mother, and you don't kill your mother. So, of all the animals that God has created, Krishna or God is known as a cowherder boy. In his kingdom, God is a young cowherder boy, and every day he goes out and herds the cows along with his friends. That is God's pastime in the kingdom of God.
Oh.
So if you must eat meat, fine. Don't eat God's favorite animal because you are going to get really whacked. If you must eat meat, something other than a cow, like that. So that
So
would
is the
be,
cow's milk like mother's milk then?
that's fine. Milk, yes. Milk, we consider it, yes. Back in the 60s, there would be so many advertisement, the miracle food. We also subscribe to that all religious principles are contained in milk. It's a miracle food because it comes from the cow. Cow is designated as God's protected species. How's that?
Beautiful.
I once, look, for some time, I worked in a regular job. I was already a devotee, but to maintain my family, I had to get a job. So I had a Jewish boss, and he found out that I was a Hare Krishna. So he would sometimes make fun, poke jokes, and tease me. So one day I had enough, and I told him, because he was saying, "Oh, these cows, why do you worship the cow? Why don't you eat cows?" And I said, "Why we don't eat cows?" I said, "Jim, I went to your house. You had two big dogs. He had like two huge dogs. I said, how would you like it if I came to your house, killed your dogs, and ate them?" He said, "I'd shoot you." I say, now you understand how I feel about cows. But of course, it went over his head.
Yeah, it's sacred to you, and
Yes.
everybody
Yes.
might have their own sacred thing. I understand.
Of course, you're intelligent.
Yeah.
And you have a heart. If you're a hospice, that means your heart, by nature, you're compassionate. Actually, by the way, in our philosophy, we accept 7 mothers:
Oh,
Mother Earth, our real mother, the wife or the queen, the wife of a king, the wife of a priest, and a nursemaid. So
oh,
you are considered and to be respected as mother. And then there's the cow, and I can't think of the 7th. I can't really think of the 7th, but
let me
there,
know when you think of it. I'm curious now.
I did. Okay, Mother Earth, your own mother, wife of a king, wife of a brahmana, nurse. I don't know. I can't think of it.
It'll come.
Yes.
That's cool. Mothers should be respected. We do a lot for you, for you
Oh,
guys.
yes. Yes.
Yes. Do you have any questions for me?
Do I have any? No, I don't have any. No, it's your show. I don't.
Thank you. Do you want
As
me
far as
to?
I'm concerned, this was easy. This was easy. No problem.
Good. Good. I want to make things easy.
Well, you did.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. It was so good to meet you. Do you want me to link your website or anything on our podcast?
Sure. www.nirantara.com.
Okay. I have it saved to my bookmarks.
Okay. Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
it. And
Okay.
I don't need to see, there's no need for me to check whatever you do with this. It's already approved. Don't worry. I have full faith and confidence. I'm sure you're going to do fine. Besides, I didn't say anything controversial, so there's nothing to check. It's fine.
Well, now I'm curious. What's controversial on your mind?
Well,
Are you allowed to do that?
What? Talk controversy?
Like you have a personal life, I'm sure.
Let's just say my wife doesn't allow me to talk politics.
Oh, I see. Okay, not this podcast anyway.
Get angry.
Yeah, I don't like things that anger me or make me feel bad or scared or sad. Okay. I appreciate it. This is my first Zoom, so it might be a while before I get it figured out and on air, but I will.
Okay.
I very much appreciate your time.
Would you allow me to bless you?
Please do. I would love that.
All right. So I'm now going to bless you and your family.
Thank you.
And I'm going to sing holy prayers for you. It'll just take a couple of seconds. All right. This is called kartals, hand cymbals. These are one of our main instruments. Can you hear it?
I can.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. May Krishna bless you. May Krishna protect you. May you live a long, healthy, happy, holy life. And I hope you one day reach the kingdom of God. Thank you very much. Haribol.
Thank you. Haribol.
Haribol. All right. I'll sign off.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right.
Talk to you later. Bye.
Anytime.
Okay. I might take you up on round 2 sometime.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye.
Hey, thanks for listening. Before you go, if you'd like more episodes, behind the scenes updates, and a growing library of comforting resources, please join me at patreon.com/deathismylife. Your support helps this podcast grow and reach more people who need it. And if this episode resonated with you, please share the podcast with someone who might find comfort in it too. I'll see you there.